Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our 28-day Black Friday challenge, 28 days till Christmas. This is Mike and Susan Keenan from KM Fitness in Manasquan. And what we're going to do over the next 28 days is we're going to help you to successfully navigate from Thanksgiving to Christmas Eve so you could stay on track so that at the end of those 28 days, you'll still be able to fit into that little black dress for New Year's Eve, or the guys will be able to wear their tux if they're going out for New Year's Eve, and just basically have a good time and help to keep things under control so that you don't feel guilty about maybe overindulging a little bit during the holidays. But what we want to do is we don't want the holidays to last for 35 days. You know, we want to enjoy our Thanksgiving. That's why we're not starting up till Friday, and then working to try to stay on track up till Christmas Eve. And if you put yourself in a position where your blood sugar is stable, your stress levels are low, you might go into the holidays and you may be satisfied by just having a little bit of this and a little bit of that as opposed to overindulging. So let's get started. Let's talk about how we're going to help you accomplish that over the next 28 days. And again, we're going to start this up on Friday. I know there's some people that aren't listening in live today. That's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get you a replay of this. So let me go ahead and click on that. And here we go. Let's go right to the next one. So we want everybody to have a very fit Christmas this year. Okay. Keep in mind when you're doing Thanksgiving, if you can keep the sugar and the alcohol to a moderate level, it'll help to facilitate us getting started on Friday. So many times when your blood sugar is really erratic, and then you start to make dietary changes, you go through what we call a sputter effect. We want to minimize that sputter effect. We don't want to have it over exaggerated. Sputter effect basically says this: your body is in the process of converting from burning predominantly sugar to burning predominantly fat. But when you're eating high levels of sugar, sugar is easy to break down. The body doesn't have to work very hard to do that, and it's a preferred fuel choice if it's given that option. So if we can start to minimize the amount of sugar, your body will start to burn fat. But sometimes that takes a day or two of a little bit of a headache, a little bit of a fatigue, a little bit of moodiness, and we call that the sputter effect. Now, what we're going to suggest that you do during that time is we have a great product, which is a post-recovery drink that is loaded with branched-chain amino acids. We also have another product that we're going to get into called Lean. Lean is also loaded with branched-chain amino acids, and branched-chain amino acids break down to glucose very, very quickly to help feed your brain and nervous system. So between the post-workout drink and the Lean, it's going to help you get through that sputter effect. So now remember, I'm talking with you, not at you. I know we have a lot to be thankful for, but the average person will gain 10 to 15 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Inevitably, we all overindulge, and some of us really regret it later. Okay, so I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but let me tell you what I found. I'm one of you. I'm one of the many who have issues with my weight fluctuating, but at least now it's just a few pounds easily rectified in a day or two. I've taught my body how to burn fat, not store it. But there was a time, especially during the holidays, where too much wine, too much of my mom's awesome butter cookies and all the eggnog I could drink was the norm. I could gain 5 pounds in a weekend. Because of this onslaught, I also had horrible stomach pain, a lot of reflux, and I was eating Tums by the handful. So obviously that wasn't good. So here we see Molly. Molly's 18 years old now. So this was me back in 1997, probably somewhere well over north of 260 pounds. And the picture on the right, that's a recent picture, down around 220 pounds is where I weigh right about now. So there's a big difference. Not only is there a big difference in the amount of body fat I have, but a big difference in the percent body fat that I have, a big difference in how my back feels, my blood pressure, all those kind of things, So I've really helped myself tremendously by working on keeping my eating and my exercise where it should be. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to help you do over the next 28 days. Black Friday sale, 28 days till Christmas. We're starting the day after Thanksgiving. running right up to Christmas Eve. Just a quick overview. I'm going to get into a lot more details with this. You're going to get 28 servings of our ID Life protein shake. I'll explain more about the protein shake as we go. A month supply of 2 other products called Lean and Energy, which will help with your weight loss and keeping your sugar cravings in check. You're going to meet with Susan face-to-face, or if you're at a distance, on the phone for a 30-minute one-on-one nutrition consultation. And I will tell you, it's never 30 minutes. We always go a little long because we want to answer your questions. And we're not going to abandon you after that 30 minutes. We're going to be coaching you for the next month. You're going to get our online fitness training updated weekly for a lot of our clients that are training in studio. Don't worry about it. We got you covered here. You know what you're doing with us. But a lot of the people on this call are training at another gym or they're training at home, and they need instruction. They need some guidance. So we have fitness models, excuse me, and a voiceover. I got to get a drink. Sorry. There we go. That's better. With voiceover, 20 to 30 minute workouts that you're going to follow along with the fitness model at your own pace. Again, what do we teach? We teach rest-based training. Go as hard as you can until you can't, rest until you can. You're going to hear a lot of that. We're going to have a private Facebook page where you can ask us questions in real time and we will get back to you. Okay, now sometimes if I'm training a client, it may be 45 minutes before I get back to you. But I will tell you this, if you call the studio and the phone rings, I don't usually check messages till I have a big break, but I can go in between clients, look at the Facebook page. If there's a quick question I can answer, I can shoot that out. Same thing with Susan. And every day you're going to get an email with motivation, email with information, email with all the things you need to be successful. So let's talk a little bit about a very famous concept called metabolic multitasking. People say, no, Mike, you don't understand. I don't just want to lose weight. I want to gain muscle. Well, that's called metabolic multitasking, and it's a myth. You can't do both. Your either body wants to build or wants to burn. So over the next 28 days, we're going to get you to do a couple things. We're going to balance out your hormones. We're going to balance out your blood sugar. We're going to work on helping you lose stored body fat over the next 28 days. In that process, we will help to maintain the amount of lean mass that you have, but we're not going to focus on building. We're going to focus on burning, balancing hormones, balancing out blood sugar. Okay, so remember, your brain is a thermostat, not a bank. It has nothing to do with calories in, calories out. Your body is going to perceive the environment it's in, and it's going to make adjustments. And I'll make some points on that in just a few minutes. But here you see a thermostat in your house. So it's getting cold. It was 28 degrees when I woke up this morning. So guess what? The heat was on in my house. Why? Because the thermostat perceived the environment in which it was in. It got below 68 degrees, so my heat kicked on. Okay, in the summer, the exact opposite happens. It gets above 68 degrees, then the air conditioner goes on. So our body is like a thermostat. It reads the environment it's in, and it'll make changes. So here's a perfect example of just that. A lot of times people get really disheartened and they're like, oh, I ate too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut way back on my calories and I'm just going to exercise more. Okay, well, again, your body's going to perceive the environment it's in. When there's a lack of food, your metabolic rate will drop. When that happens, you're going to have an increase in hunger and cravings because the food has gone down. Your brain's still looking for that sugar that it's not getting. And the problem is, as your metabolic rate drops because you're not eating properly and you're over-exercising, your energy is going to decrease. And if your energy decreases, you have zero motivation to exercise. Now you say, well, I've done this before, and I can work through it. You know what? Some people, they can do it for a while, but eventually your brain's going to win out. And you're going to start to overeat. You're going to exercise less because you have no motivation. The weight comes back on and you're more depressed and you just keep going through this cycle. The problem is every time you go through the cycle, you lose lean mass and then you gain back weight, but you gain it back as stored body fat. So you're actually fatter than you were before you started it the first time. And this happens year in, year out. And this is where people develop type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and all other kinds of problems, okay? Because you're constantly bombarding your body with all this stress hormone and you're just putting yourself in a fat storing capacity because your body feels threatened because you're starving it. Okay, so what do we teach? We're going to teach you a couple different things here. We're going to teach you how to balance your metabolism. How do you know you're in balance? Okay, we use an acronym called HEC, hunger, energy, and cravings. So if your HEC is in check, you'll know that your hormones are balanced. So we use a scale of 0 to 10. So if your hunger is below a 5 and your cravings are below a 5, then you know that your hormones are in check. And if your energy is greater than 5, we're moving in the right direction. And we have ways to check that, so to say. And we're going to teach you those over the next 4 weeks. Now, when your HEC is in check, you're naturally going to lower calories. You're not going to be looking for the extras. You're going to be very satisfied with your salmon and your asparagus and maybe your sweet potato as a meal. And you're not going to be looking for cake, cookies, ice cream after that meal because your body's going to be satisfied. And that's due to the decreased hunger and cravings. So we're going to help you to get lean and stay lean by balancing out your hormones and balancing out your blood sugar. So we're going to look at a couple things here. There are things that are on the hierarchy of needs that are more important than the other. Let's start with protein, carbohydrates, and fats. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on carbohydrates because that's another talk we'll do in a week or so. But just know this. You have your highly refined carbohydrates like your breads, your muffins, your cold cereal. Okay, we're going to try to keep those to a minimum, if not eliminate them completely. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have your green vegetables, your broccoli, your kale, your cauliflower, your asparagus, Brussels sprouts, romaine lettuce, spinach. We're going to focus more on those. We are going to add starch into the meal. Starch are things like brown rice, oatmeal, sweet potato, white potato, okay, quinoa. But those are going to be put in specific meals at specific times. So we're going to teach you how to do that. Protein is very important. I'm going to get into protein in a minute. And just know with fats, fats are very important to help you stay satisfied and to keep your brain and nervous system healthy as well. We're going to talk about things like coconut oil, the fat that comes in grass-fed beef, the fat that comes in salmon, wild-caught salmon, avocado, olive oil, those kind of things. Those are the healthy fats we're going to focus on. Next, we have our vitamins, minerals, fiber, and water. Okay, and those are found in most of our fresh fruits and vegetables. But here's the problem. Anybody who watched the Sunday morning CBS show, they talked about the most popular fruit in the country. The most popular fruit in the United States are bananas, okay? But when a banana is picked, they're picked when they're still green, right? They haven't fully ripened. And they use a hormone to try to get them to ripen in transit. Okay, now here's the problem. Fruit and vegetables can only absorb nutrients from the soil when they're what? When they're on the tree or in the ground. So if you're picking them before they're ripened, you're not allowing the full complement of all the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients you would normally get. And that's very customary for a lot of the fruits and vegetables we eat. They're picked before they're ripened. So we have nutritional gaps, kind of like walking over a sewer grate. If you're walking down the street and there's a storm drain at the end of your block, like there is on mine, and all the rainwater goes in that, it goes out into the Manasquan River or the Glimmerglass, or depending where you live, it may go into some other storage facility where the rainwater goes. But there's holes in the grates to allow the water to flow through. There's gaps. Well, we have nutritional gaps. So we're going to help you to fill those nutritional gaps by using a very simple supplementation program that's going to be specific to you. Everyone on this call is going to be able to take a free HIPAA compliant assessment and receive a free report. At the end of that free report, there's going to be some recommendations on what you should be taking to help supplement your diet. Now, you can take that report, you can print it out, you can go to any health food store, GNC, Vitamin Shop, whatever, and you could shop to see what it would cost to get those vitamins, minerals, and supplements. I will tell you, ID Life provides it, as you see it on the screen here, comes delivered a month's supply. There's no bottles, there's no things taking up room on your shelf. They're in strip packs. They have morning and afternoon, morning and evening vitamins you'll take. It'll come with your name on it. It'll be specific to you. So the vitamins, minerals, and supplements my son takes, who has no health issues whatsoever, who's 17 years old, are a lot different than the vitamins, minerals, and supplements my mom takes, who's 74 years old and still smokes. And, her health issues are a whole lot different. So it's specific to you. And they're pharmaceutical grade. When you start grading different food products, you have pharmaceutical grade, you have medical grade, you have food grade. These are pharmaceutical grade, and again, if you look at the cost, it's a fraction of the cost doing it through ID Life than it is to go to a health food store. Okay, because we obviously give our customers a preferred price. We'll talk more about that. And of course, last but not least, a free range, wild caught, cage free. These are the kind of foods you want to eat. Now, I will tell you, and I'll catch up with this when we talk about the whey protein. Susan, the kids, and I eat grass-fed beef, but it comes from New Zealand or Australia. And the reason for that is this: there's no GMO grass in New Zealand, and there's no GMO grass in Australia. There's Scott's company is a grass seed company here in the United States, and the bulk of their product is genetically modified grass. Why? Because they feel you just thrown it on your lawn, no one's eating it. Well, guess what? Surprise, the cows are eating it. So even though it's grass-fed in the United States, they're eating probably a GMO product, which means that cow is no longer GMO-free. So in order to get GMO-free beef, or when we talk about it later, GMO-free whey protein, which comes from the milk of the cow, the only place that's available presently on any large-scale basis is New Zealand, and that's where our whey protein comes from. It comes from New Zealand. We have food bars, nutrition bars for kids and for adults. We use honey in those. The honey comes from New Zealand. Again, why? Because the bees are pollinating plants that don't have any genetically modified components to it. All right. So there's three things we always teach our clients. Today, I'm only going to focus on metabolic compensation. When your metabolism takes even more of a beating, you get into metabolic resistance, and that's when people really start to have problems with their weight, and then you have metabolic damage. Metabolic damage is when we see people who have thyroid issues, who have adrenal issues, they're on Synthroid for their thyroid, they're on a host of different medications, they really destroy their metabolism, and that is more of a medical intervention. But the cure for all of this is not another pharmaceutical drug. The cure is to work on your sleep, work on your hydration, work on your nutrition, work on your stress management, and exercise. That is the cure for 99.9% of the things that ail us. So let's just start with some basic metabolic compensation. This is when people start to have trouble controlling their weight. They start, like we spoke about earlier, they start to eat less and exercise more. They get a decrease in their metabolic rate because they cut their food back. Your body will cut back to whatever you're feeding it, okay? And most people are over-exercising. So with that decrease in metabolism, what happens too, you get an increase of hunger and cravings, decreased energy, you don't feel like exercising anymore, you overeat, you get that weight regain and overcompensation. So what's the solution? Okay, so what can you expect by working with us? Well, we're going to go through your nutrition, and we're going to go through your we're going to guide you, and we're going to coach you with your nutrition. We have online exercise videos that will be updated weekly. Again, if you're training with us, that's one thing, but if you're training at home, we're going to give you that information too. And we have supplements that will be sure to reduce your hunger and cravings. Most of my clients don't have problems with hunger. Most of their problems are cravings. So if we can control your cravings, we can help to control your weight and your mood. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to suggest that you start the 28-day challenge with 2 whole food meals, which I'll get into the creation of those in a few minutes, and 1 protein shake, and then 2 servings a day of energy and 2 servings a day of lean. So let me break this down a little bit. Again, with the shake, it's whey protein, it's cold filtered to help to remove the casein and the lactose, and it's minimally processed. On a percentage basis, it's about 3% processed. The industry standard with most whey protein is 15 to 20% processed. Also, our whey comes from where? From cows from New Zealand, because there's no genetic modification of the grass that the cows are eating. It's soy free. It's sweetened with stevia. It has micro-milled chia seed in it. That's going to do 2 things. It's a healthy form of fat, and it's also a very healthy form of fiber. Fiber helps to bind to help you to lose weight by absorbing water that makes you feel more full. So the shake is an excellent choice for one of your meals. Okay, energy has 2 energy components in it. One is called caffeine, and it's a very time-release, slow-release caffeine, so you don't get that big jolt of energy. It's more of a slow, steady stream. But it also has something called Avantra Z in it. Avantra Z is a citrus extract that not only helps to increase your energy, but it helps your body to burn sugar as a fuel source, and also helps to mobilize fat to be burned for energy as well. So it helps with weight loss because it helps you with fat burning. And then lean. Lean is predominantly constructed to help with sugar cravings. It has no stimulants in it, the lean. So most of my clients take lean in the afternoon to help get them through the afternoon into their evening meal, and then they take it before they go to bed. One of the reasons people have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep is their blood sugar is erratic. So if you take lean before you go to bed, lean, the basic component of lean is the 4 branched chain amino acids. Branched chain amino acids will break down and convert to glucose to feed your brain and nervous system, and therefore it helps to preserve your lean body mass. Because if you don't have a branched chain product in you and your blood sugar starts to drop, your body will go through a process in the liver called gluconeogenesis. It's a big fancy term. Basically what it's saying is it's breaking down protein in your liver to convert it to sugar to feed your brain and nervous system. So by putting a branched chain amino acid product in front of that process, it'll break down and it'll help to preserve your lean mass. Okay, so the protein shake design. What's important about protein? Well, protein builds muscles, your immune system, your hormones, your enzymes, collagen, which is your hair, skin, and nails, everything that holds you together, and your red blood cells, which is the oxygen-carrying component of your blood. Protein can also be broken down into glucose if needed. ID Life Whey is both casein and lactose-free, sweetened with stevia, with no artificial colors, no artificial flavors or preservatives, and includes chia seed for additional fiber. This is really key for my autoimmune clients who are trying to get them off, anything that is going to cause their body to exacerbate their autoimmune response. And a lot of that has to do with GMO product, soy, gluten. We say dairy, but when we talk about dairy, we're talking about casein and lactose, but ours is casein and lactose free. And again, it comes from whey that's not genetically modified. And the fiber aids in digestion and helping to be satiated along with the protein. So when we put a whole food meal together, what do? We have a lean source of protein, fibers, carbohydrate, like I mentioned earlier, your romaine, your spinach, your kale, your broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, that kind of thing. A healthy fat could be homemade mayonnaise, which we do at our house. Could be avocado, could be coconut oil, could be salmon, this healthy fat in salmon. And then at nighttime, we're going to recommend a starchy carbohydrate. The reason for that is that'll break down into sugar. It'll help to feed the brain and nervous system, and it helps to facilitate a restful night of sleep. The workouts are real simple: 2 to 3 strength training workouts a week and 1 hour of walking daily. Okay, why are we doing resistance training? We are performing exercises, something called temporary muscle failure, which causes a production of lactic acid. That's a little burn you get in the muscle. Now, lactic acid is the key that unlocks the door to all the healing compounds, such as testosterone, human growth hormone, and our other tissue repair hormones. So when people say I'm swollen or I'm having trouble with my joints, we try to get people to exercise, because exercise and doing it correctly will help to alleviate all the inflammation in your body. It's very, very important that we release these healing compounds, because if not, and we just do a lot of chronic stress type situations, we make the situation worse. So we want to do exercise correctly. Now, when you do this type of exercise, you get something called mitochondrial proliferation. A lot of your autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis are mitochondrial diseases or conditions, okay? So when you're working to temporary muscle failure, you're sending a very strong signal to your brain to increase the number, size, and function in the mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell where fat and oxygen are burned. So if you can build up the number, size, and function of your mitochondria, you're going to fix the cell, and you're also going to accelerate fat burning, because you're pouring more fat and more oxygen into the body, into the cell rather, where it can be burned. Now, We also want to emphasize that restorative activities are very important over these first 4 weeks. Massage, intimacy with loved ones, time with pets, laughter, reading. These are things that help to restore normal stress levels and help to balance out your hormones. Why is 1 hour of walking prescribed in this program? Well, it helps to balance your stress hormones of cortisol and adrenal hormones, and it reduces the incidence of adrenal fatigue. It helps to balance insulin and blood sugar levels, and is genetically instinctual as opposed to jogging, which for most people increases cortisol. It's a chronic form of stress, causes blood sugar instability, and causes an increase in adrenal stress hormones. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to take a locomotive engine and I'm only going to bring the temperature up to 200 degrees. All you got is hot water. You need to get to 212 degrees to create steam. That's why we do the working to temporary muscle failure. Steam in our body is lactic acid. We want to create that lactic acid, which is going to allow us to release those healing compounds. If you just work at a moderate level for long periods of time, all you do is increase stress hormone and there's no significant release of those healing compounds. So people start to break down. Here's a great testimonial from our friend Debbie. You can obviously see the difference in the amount of stored body fat in her abdomen, the size of her hips, her legs, everything changed. She put away her 12s and most of her size 8s. Okay, she'd been working very hard to try to lose those 30 pounds. She took her percent body fat down from 25% to 20%, and she says it's the fittest she's been in 16 years. At the end, she talks about when I'm hungry, I eat a lot of good foods. That's fueling my workouts and keeping my energy up, and my hunger, energy, and cravings, my heck is in check. So here we go with our 28-day transformation. Again, here's your base kit. You're going to be getting a month's supply of the shake, a month's supply of the lean, and a month's supply of the energy. And again, we have plenty of instruction to teach you when to take these, where they're going to go in your workouts, when they're going to go in your meals, where they're going to go in your day. And I have a sheet that's not in this handout or in this video that'll take you through your entire day and tell you when you need to take them. Again, we have a lot of success stories in here. If you have a success story after using our products, okay, you can send your story. You can send a video, you can send an email, you can send pictures, whatever, to mystory@idlife.com, and you could be in a drawing to win $500. Now, this is Jennifer. Jennifer and Susan and I met Jennifer and her husband, John, down in Punta Cana this year, and she does look great. She lost that weight, and it's very evident on the changes she made. So if she can do it, you can do it. You're also going to get your free assessment. You'll get an email with this again, so you don't have to copy this down. But this is the link to your free assessment and your free report and the recommendations on what vitamins, minerals, and supplements you need to fill in your nutrition gaps. Now, remember, it takes at least 4 weeks for you to see changes in your body, 8 weeks for your friends and your family, and 12 for the rest of the world. So just keep going. So here's your Black Friday special. We're going to kind of wrap this up here. You're going to get 4 weeks of your coaching program. You're going to start with a 30-minute or more one-on-one nutrition consultation with Susan. You're going to get 4 weeks of weekly webinar coaching. Every Monday night at 8 o'clock, I'm going to come on, just like I'm doing right here, right now. And we will record those as well if you miss it. And you're going to get that week's coaching to help you to succeed in your program. You're going to get a month's supply of the ID Life Lean and the Energy along with the shake. You're going to get your private Facebook page for daily questions. You're going to get educational emails, and you're going to get weekly scheduled recipes and workouts explaining what to do for that week. And of course, you get the exercise PDFs and the video instruction. We say that's a $500 value. During the year, I charge $199 for this program. But for the next 28 days in this program, you can sign up today and receive all these products, all this coaching, and all this support for only $149. So you can give us a call at 732-292-1333 to get started, or you can email us at KeenanMedicalFitness@gmail.com. Look for us at Keenan Fitness on Facebook. You can find us. Okay. Thanks for joining us with the webinar today. I hope everybody joins us. We'd love to have a nice group of people joining us for our program. And I'm going to sign out because most of you are going to be hearing this on a replay. All right, so take care and have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you all on Friday for your 28-day Black Friday special. Take care. Bye-bye.